So the Silver Fox couldn't come in, but he's with us. Is on the phone or video? Oh, awesome. We got him. The Silver Fox, Kelly Remple, is with us today. I was assuming he's at his office or maybe at home. What's up, Remps?
Well, I'm kind of flipping back and forth between work and home, trying to work from home as much as I possibly can. The reality is in my business, there are times where I have to come home at night, or I should say, go to work at night or early in the morning, get files or whatever the case may be. So just doing the best they can, like everybody else. This is, I mean, what can you say? It's a different time.
How do you, as a guy that's in the industry and you own multiple businesses, you're an entrepreneur, how do you feel when you hear people whining about a junior hockey season ending or the Olympics or some of these other things? Do you have more empathy, more sympathy than me, or are you like me going, I wish those were my problems?
You know, I think it's all relative. When I think about the hardships that some people are suffering, I mean, you know, knock on wood, I don't have a relative or a friend that's sick from the coronavirus. That's first and foremost. The thing that I think would really get to me is if there was a loved one or a friend or a family or a coworker, somebody that, you know, I loved and cared about very much, that was suffering the way that some of these poor people are suffering. My wife and I try to look at the positive in these kinds of things. Obviously, I mean, to your point, we're a retail business. We have a company, as you guys know, called Studio S Fashion House. Well, the timing for us couldn't have been much worse, because about 3 or 4 weeks before this kind of hit the fan, I'm not going to give you a dollar number, but it was a significant investment in brand new clothing. Well, the reality is we're not going to sell those clothes for anywhere near what we had hoped. So it's going to be a brutal, awful kick in the you know what for us financially. We're just hoping that our retail, you know, business can make it to the other side of this thing, and we could stay in business. That's, you know, I don't care whether you're a bar owner or a restaurant owner. If you're a small business and small business drives this country, make no mistake, it's not major corporations, it's small businesses from coast to coast. There's a lot of panic out there, and it would be easy to get caught up in all of that. But again, it's stuff. So, you know what? My business, obviously, I'm a financial advisor at Remple and Dusick Financial. So when my book of business gets whacked for 25 or 30%, because the market's just done, I get whacked for 25 or 30% of a fairly large number. So this has been financially terrible for us. But you know what? It's money, guys. And I don't mean to make light of it, but we're going to be able to weather the storm at the Remple House. There are people out there whose unemployment might be the difference between them being able to feed their family or having to have friends help them feed their family. Could you imagine going to your friends and saying, like, can you help me out? I can't put groceries on the table. Or going to your landlord and saying, if you don't give me a couple of months rent, I'm homeless. I mean, that's the reality that some people are facing. And even worse, people are dying. So, you know what? As bad as it is for many of us, there's people out there that are in a lot worse shape. So I'm trying to see the positive side. I do believe that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I think that we will get through this. We have to get through it together. We can't be piling on one another. Although I got to tell you, watching some people the way they're behaving right now and not getting the message frustrates the heck out of me. But that's whatever. Hopefully people smarten up and they try to help level the curve on this thing. I also, one last point about this, guys, we are in way better shape than the United States. The United States are in a lot of trouble, like big time trouble, especially in places like San Francisco and New York City. There's going to be so much fallout from this, from a health perspective and an economic perspective, that in little old Saskatchewan, relatively speaking, we're going to be just fine. But it is going to take time and a lot of patience, and it's a sport show. I'm already going through massive sport withdrawals, but what else can we do, guys?
Nothing. And I can't say it any better than you. It is relative. I've spent so much time on the phone with people. I'm tired of hearing the crying. Not tired of them, but that's why I don't have a lot of sympathy. Yeah, for an athlete. I'm sorry, because who's dying? Are you about to be bankrupt? For all the reasons you just said. But I'll say it again. Direct West, support your small to medium-sized businesses here in Saskatchewan now and on the other side of this thing. But Kelly is the junior hockey aficionado as you are. And boy, does your pup look very comfortable there. What's your dog's name, by the way?
Teddy.
Teddy? Named after...
Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater. I thought it might have been Hammer. Anyways, to junior hockey being canceled for the year. Interesting that they were the ones that pulled out first. I'm talking about junior A and then major junior. It just tells you how slim the margins are in junior hockey. Nobody's making a lot of money, if at all, in junior hockey. And that's the thing that, tragedy aside, that's the thing that disappoints me the most, because I always look forward to the spring and junior hockey playoffs.
Well, and I think that we all had hoped that eventually at some point, maybe this thing wasn't going to be quite as bad as what it ended up being, right? So I remember when they canceled the NHL season, I remember sitting on my couch when Elliot Friedman and Brian Burke were talking about this on, it was a game between, I think, Edmonton. And they had announced that, they're going to shut down the season and who knows when they'll be back. There was my heart was telling me, oh, well, let's hope that this is only going to be a month or two and that we'll be able to kind of pick things up maybe around March around April or mid to late April or early May. And maybe even if they just have best of threes or best of fives or whatever, and maybe this thing goes into July, who cares? We're going to have hockey to watch. But I think realistically, my brain was telling me that there's not a hope they would ever go so far as to basically eliminate the games, right? Like we're can't, you forget about playing in empty arenas. We're not even going to play, period. Well, that was a warning shot to me that we're probably not going to have an NFL season this year. And if we do, it will be so abbreviated that it's probably going to happen in the summertime or something along those lines. And then when the junior hockey, we knew that it was going to be a trickle. It always is, right? It starts with one and then it kind of takes off from there, just like social distancing. Somebody had to be the first city or the first province or the first state to practice that. But when you knew that had become a thing, you knew it was only a matter of time before everybody was doing it. And but to your point earlier about the junior hockey, I was watching the news last night, which sadly, I try not to watch, but in my business, you have to stay on top of what's going on. Or when people phone you and ask your opinion, the worst thing you could tell them is, oh, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. So I'm forced to watch, and they were talking about, they had that shot of the Memorial Cup being passed around. And it broke my heart. I live for that. That's my whole life I've spent as a junior hockey fanatic. And I guess there was a little wee part of me that still held a little bit of hope that even at worst case scenario, crown the three top teams in the leagues and still try to play this thing. But I knew it wasn't going to happen. I'm a little less optimistic maybe than you guys as far as the NHL resuming. I hope I'm wrong. I'd do anything to be wrong. It would just drive me crazy if as an example, the NFL season didn't start on time. Like if we're still sitting here in August, or everybody's sitting in their homes and we can't get out. Can you imagine? Like my kids are already going nuts, and it's been a week and a half. But that's the reality, right? Baseball. Are they going to have an abbreviated season? Is it going to be able to pick up at the All-Star break and play half a year and then go into the World Series, or is the season going to be written? Who knows? But I'm with you, Rod. When I saw that they canceled all the hockey and it's done, and it was kind of like closure in some ways, but very disappointing for sure.
Well, Remps, we'll let you get back to doing what you're doing. Thanks for spending some time with us today, and stay safe, my friend. Can't wait to get you back in here.
Yeah, no kidding. It'd be nice to, kind of get out and live normal lives again. Unfortunately, it might be a little while. hope you guys are well, and hope everybody, we got viewers now from all over Canada, and whether you're in Victoria, British Columbia, or Vancouver, or Toronto, or wherever you are, I hope everybody's being smart and most importantly, being safe. So take care.
Thanks, Rems. Kelly Remple from his palatial East Regina estate with his pup, Teddy.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.